Good morning. Welcome to another video. As you can see, I have changed locations. I have left the mountains of Colorado for the beaches of Florida. Here's a 36-second quick condensed time-lapse video of our journey in. So that was kind of cool. Hit some of the highlights on the 1,600-mile drive and 26-hour drive from Colorado to Florida. We actually visited this area enough that we have a storage unit down here where I keep all my gear. So we're road trippers, just a great American road trip. And we are in the Gulf of America. And I'm going to start with a set rig today, a Pompano rig. It is early February 2025. And targeting whiting. Could get a lucky Pompano flounder, redfish, but whiting's the goal. Catch a whiting, we're going to use that as shark bait to cast out a shark pole. And these kind of waves, I'd be very comfortable kayaking the bait out. I don't have a drone, so I would kayak bait out, but I'm not doing that today. We just had a long drive. I am not feeling like fighting a 6-foot shark today. But days like this, you can get the kayak out easily. There's a few options we're going to show you. We're going to show you sharks on this trip without a doubt. But just don't want to kayak out the bait today and do that. So yeah, I'll show you the rig a little bit later. If you're not familiar with this kind of fishing, I vacation and visit Florida enough that I've got some experience with this kind of surf fishing and inshore fishing like this, and land-based sharks fishing. So I'll show you my rig in a little bit, exactly what I'm doing. The goal is whiting today, maybe a Pompano, maybe a red, and sit back and relax. It's gonna be fun. Let's go fish. Two poles here with Pompano rigs, and in Florida you can have as many poles out as you want. They trust you to handle it. In Colorado you cannot have more than 2, and there's a fee for the second one. So that's the good thing about Florida. This one is set up for shark with a Pin 6000 reel, but this is set up for casting for shark with the old Sputnik spider weight. Believe it or not, with the standard Pompano rig, it's illegal down here to put cut fish on it. Most people are using shrimp or sand fleas, and the fish gums and the fish bites, but you actually are supposed to use the non-offset circle hook, non-stainless steel, anytime you're throwing fish out. So the goal today is catch a whiting and cut it in half and just put a little chunk of whiting on here. It's just a casting rod, because again, I'm just too tired to worry about a 6-foot shark today. But we're going to show you that for sure coming up. So that'll be the plan, is just cast this out. And then historically, in this area, this time of year, I've caught little black tips and bonnet heads when I'm doing this. And you could get a bull redfish, red drum redfish to come through on this too. So that's the goal if we get bit on our smaller poles right here. We have a gorgeous day. The forecast is unreal. We're looking at above average temperatures for this area for February. It's in the upper 60s and almost 70, and that's about 10 degrees above average for this time of year in the Florida Panhandle. So we have an incredible temperature. You couldn't ask for more. Temperatures in the 60s to 70s about the whole time we're here with 0 chance of rain. It's perfect. It's 10 degrees above average. This is the same area. You can see the amount of people here, which is not much. This is the same area that had the snow. This is the same area that got like 4 inches of measurable snow on the Panhandle, and we just missed that. That was what, 10 days ago or something? So it's perfect, absolutely perfect. Land-based shark fishing, surf fishing, inshore fishing, Pompano, flounder, whiting, reds, all that. For me, personally, it's not a fly rod trip. It's just not. I know you can fly fish, but surf fishing like this, the fly rod's just not the tool. It just isn't. Most of you guys know that. If you're in the bays and the flats, then obviously, you know, a tarpon on a fly rod is a bucket list fish for all of us. But this is not a fly rod trip for me. It's conventional tackle and spinning gear. And I don't even own a shark reel or shark rod. I actually use spinning gear for shark, the kind of shark fishing that I'm doing, which we'll outline later for you. Right where I'm standing right now is where you catch sand fleas. And so that's going to be fun too. I have a sand flea rake. We're going to do a video on that. And I'm rocking shrimp right now, just frozen shrimp, not a live shrimp. But I'm rocking shrimp right now on the Pompano rig with the fish gum and fish bites. But the sand fleas that live right here at my feet is also something you can use surf fishing, which is fun. We'll show you that later. So hopefully we get bit here soon. Everyone down here obviously does the same thing with these rod holders. You dig these in the sand, and I'm too cheap to buy the expensive ones with a ruler, so I just did it myself. So basically from the top, from right here to here, I marked off 11 inches. 11 inches is important because pompano, to keep a pompano, they got to be 11 inches to the fork of the tail. Not the end of the tail, but the fork of the tail. And there's 12 inches, 14 inches. So here to here is 14 inches. 14 inches is important because black drum to keep have to be between 14 and 24. And then if you look down there, right at the bottom where it's dug into the sand, is 27 inches. And I've marked off 18 here. And why is 18 to 27 inches important? Well, that is your slot redfish. Redfish is also called red drum, but they're just called reds. And slot just simply means a legal keeper. So 18 to 27 inches is a legal keeper redfish. So a bull red could easily go over 30 inches. I've caught a number of them, and those have to be thrown back. And a 17-inch red has to be thrown back. So your slot red is 18 to 27, where we can do a hook and cook. So I know I did a video on ice fishing and said the reason I don't ice fish is because I want to be more mobile and not just sit there, which is true. And I respect you guys that ice fish. I'm not judging it. I'm sure if I pulled a massive trout through a hole in a lake, I would enjoy it. But this is different. You know, this hanging out like this and just sitting, I'm all for this on a vacation like this. Just waiting for these rods to bend and for my line to get pulled, I'm all for this. You know, 99% of the people that fish the Florida Panhandle are doing exactly this with exactly my rig. You know, a pompano rig with shrimp or fish bites or fish gum or sand fleas. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm doing right now. But you know, I do throw lures here, and there's just different fish and different species that'll hit a lure that you're probably not gonna catch with the pompano rig. And bluefish come to mind. Spanish mackerel and bluefish are two species that come to mind, you know, that could hit a lure that may not hit a pompano rig. Actually, pompano themselves, you know, oftentimes, you know, a pompano jig would be better than a shrimp or sand flea pompano rig sometimes. So yeah, so there's just, you know, different fish that you can catch throwing lures where I can be a little bit more active and mobile and kind of walk the beach and maybe sight fish, look for that transition zone where the water gets deeper. So we'll do that for sure as well. That'll be fun. And then of course, shark fishing. When you're shark fishing, we'll talk more about this later. When you're shark fishing, it's all about time of year and water temperature, just like everything else with saltwater fishing. And obviously, you know, the tide and everything that influences there. But February in the Panhandle, Florida, in this part of Florida, you're catching sandbar sharks and bonnet heads and black tips. Tigers can be caught as well. The reason I'm not as much in the hunt for tiger shark when I show you guys a shark video is because they're usually a little bit further out. They're often caught at night, and I shark fish during the day. I've actually had a pretty regular like 2 p.m. bite down here. So I'm not in the hunt for, it could happen, but I'm not in the hunt for tiger shark because I'm not at night and I'm not going out as far. But I am in the hunt for sandbars, which is almost always what I catch, 5 to 6 foot sandbars. And I'm in the hunt for black tips and bonnet heads. And the black tips and bonnet heads can be caught casting from shore. Those are the two species that can be caught casting from shore. It'd be really hard to catch anything else. Did have someone catch a small hammerhead casting, which was a pretty lucky catch and fun, but somebody else, but that's very, very rare. And the hammerhead is typically a warmer water shark. So but it's just almost like clockwork. The sandbar shark, what they call the sandy, is the February shark. It's just how it works. That's just the shark for this time of year and this water temperature, and we're gonna show you some on this trip. Why do we visit the Panhandle in February? Well, there's part of your answer right there. There's not a soul for 2 miles that I can see except for these two birds. So that's a good reason right there. It's tougher fishing. These haven't been bit now for the first hour, but and I'm sure in like March, April, you know, you'd at least get a whiting or pompano. But so it's tougher fishing. Water temperature is, I don't know, low 50s. I don't know. I have no idea. Low to mid 50s. We're early February, so you know, it does make the fishing tougher. But we'll get into some fish. There's no question about that. I have had days here though where the 6-foot shark bite is much better than the whiting bite, and so February is a phenomenal time of year for shark fishing. You know, because of the water temperature and how active the sharks are in this area, and just less people. There's actually a law in Florida that you're in the way. If you have a shark on, you're in the way. I mean, people that swim and use the beach have priority over the shark person. So that's a law. I'm supposed to move, not them. Now, common sense suggests that if you have a 6-foot shark on, you probably should get out of the water. But, you know, the law is pretty clear that the shark angler is in the way. So I'm really respectful for that. And that's why some people fish at night for sharks. But when it's just crowded, it works really, really well. So that's the fun of these trips for shark. That's for sure. So I'll show you this rig at least. This rig has 12-pound fluorocarbon on it, swivel here, your standard double pompano rig, armed with a piece of shrimp and a fish bite. I got a buddy that lives here that calls it the Gulf Coast sandwich. If you put a fish bite here and then shrimp and then fish bite here. So the Gulf Coast sandwich, 2 pieces of fish bites or fish gum and shrimp in the middle. So, and then these kind of beads and float. These are nice, you know, these floats. I think the color attracts them and brings them in a little bit too. So, and then classic pompano rig, you got a second hook down there and a little bit of weight. So that's my simple shark outfit that I use. Again, I literally don't even own a shark reel or a shark rod per se, and I've caught a number of sharks in that 6-foot range like I'm targeting. So, but this is just your Penn Battle 3 rod, nothing too fancy. This is a great reel, but again, nothing too fancy. A Penn reel. This is my Fierce 6000. I had to look, but the Penn Fierce 6000. So 6,000 reel, that is 80-pound braid. That's way too thick. But I think there's a law about that too. You're not supposed to target shark with anything smaller than maybe 60-pound. I can't remember. But 80-pound braid, it just doesn't scare them, but that's way thicker than I need for casting this shark. I only use 80-pound braid or 100-pound braid when I'm dropping bait via kayak. And then since this is the casting setup, only a 3-foot shark leader. About 18 inches of really thick mono with the steel leader on the end, and then again by law the circle hook non-stainless steel. And then these Sputnik or spider weights are really handy. You kind of get the feel for these, but these legs, when you cast, you would actually bring these legs up like that. So you would cast like this. It's kind of a feel thing, and you actually reel it in. And these are going to dig in. These are going to dig into the sand if the surf is rough. If it was a lot rougher than this, you would really want this. This is, again, overkill now, but I'll still use it. But these kind of dig into the sand. And then obviously your cut fish and your bait is going to be right here. And then obviously if you set the hook or get a shark, this is going to break free. But these weights are really nice, especially if the sea's a lot rougher than it is now. The reason I kept this on here for today is it's going to be heavy. It's going to give me some... you know, just some way to get that cut fish out there. And then again, this time of year in this area, I'll be targeting small black tips and bonnet heads. If I get some bait, I'm too cheap to buy bait, so I'm trying to catch some bait for this right now. All right, we're gonna try something else for a little bit here. There's absolutely nothing happening on the Pompano rig. Again, it's cold water. As this month goes, it should get better. But what I have right here is called an ES casting metal. And I can just absolutely heave this thing. I'm rocking 15-pound monofilament with it, and I swear I can throw this thing almost 50 yards. I am just launching this thing, and I'm reeling it back fast. I mean, I can treat it like a jerk bait, but really just a straight retrieve pretty quickly coming in is kind of what my goal is. Remember, you can never out-reel a fish. You know, you can, as fast as you can reel is still, you know, something that a fish can easily catch. So you can't out-reel a fish. So I'm bringing this back quickly, but I can heave this thing out there. Now, the species that I could catch on this that I would not get on a pompano rig is a bluefish, and bluefish school. And you can sight fish for bluefish. And I also found a spot right here where it's some darker blue and there's a bit of a cut. There's some deeper water kind of next to a sandbar. So I think I have a shot here. But I haven't seen any fish, but bluefish would be what could hit this. In addition to like a Spanish mackerel if it was warmer. But the blue is what I'm targeting, especially if I see a school. You can actually sight fish, but we're gonna heave this out here and give this a go. But I can, I can just absolutely heave this. I mean, that is launched. I'm getting that out there. I wish you guys could see how far that's going. I mean, I'm literally getting out there into the dark blue. I am heaving this thing. I have tried letting it sink a little more. I've tried kind of a jerkbait style retrieve. I've tried jigging it. These are generally best with a straight retrieve like I'm doing now. And like I say, you really can't reel too fast. But nothing yet. But when you know, when ES casting metals are not working, and shrimp and pompano rigs are not working, and fish bites and fish gum are not working, you know it's a slow day with cold water, but that's okay. It's day's not over yet. We're gonna keep after him. Finally had a bite. Anybody home? Nobody's here. Gotta check my bait. That was definitely a bite. Bummer. Bait is gone on the bottom hook. That was a hit. Come on, still be there. Be there. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, that's a decent fish. This might be a red. What do we got here? What have we got here? Maybe a whiting. I see a fin. Looks like it's a bonnet head shark. Do I have a bonnet head? Oh, we got a baby blacktip. That's cool. Interesting. Baby blacktip shark. Baby blacktip shark taking shrimp. How cool is that? That's an accidental catch. We'll take it. Let him tire a little bit. But he's pinned. That rod just bent double. Maybe it's a bonnet head. I can't tell. It's a shark. Yeah, it's a bonnet head. These guys are cool. I'll show you guys this. These guys are really cool, actually. He choked it. I'll let him wear out so he doesn't break off, but these little bonnet heads are fun. I usually catch these on cut fish bait, but this one took shrimp, so little bonnet head. Really cool. Technically a shark, just a small guy. These guys get confused for hammerheads, but they are called bonnet heads. I'm gonna let him tire. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. Let's drag him up the sand so we can look at him. Come here, buddy. There you go. Neat cat. So this bonnie, I can get the hook out of him. Oh, come on, buddy. Get untangled. There you go. These guys are just wicked cool. I'll give you a look at them. But yeah, just they get confused for hammerheads, but that is a bonnet head. But it's a shark. And we'll take them. That's cool. That's fun right there. See you, buddy. Sweet. So we'll get this back out there with shrimp, but shows you how shallow and close to the beach those bonnet heads live, you know. Got your standard Pompano rig here with shrimp, and he hammered it, so kind of cool. Not a shark that bites your leg if you're swimming, but still a shark and still something cool. So when you stare at these poles like this, depending on, you know, how heavy a rig you've got, how sturdy a pole you've got, you start to learn the difference between a wave and a bite. When it's really choppy, it's kind of hard to tell. But if you fish long enough, you know the difference between a wave and a bite. Sometimes you get that like tap, tap, tap with that rod, you know, just doing all kinds of movement. But that was just that steady pull, and then the rod just bent. So I figured that was either a small shark or a bull red. Would have actually rather had a redfish, a slot red between 18 and 27 inches that we could be eaten. But still, very, very, very cool. And first fish of this trip is a bonnet head shark. All right, I'm gonna head up to the house, join the family. The kids are swimming in the pool, so fun first day. I normally, probably won't make a video. This will probably be the first and last video if I only catch, you know, one fish, but still, shark. I mean, it's cool. Those little bonnies are fun. One guy walked by and said the water temperature's in the mid 50s, upper 50s, and that's really cold for whiting. We would need a few degrees warmer water to really turn on the whiting, and even probably the redfish and pompano for sure. So hopefully that happens later in the month. But the bonnet head shark kind of saved the day. We always say fish for what's biting, and the bonnet head shark was biting, so that was fun catch, just to cast out and get a shark on a piece of shrimp. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and much more to come, maybe even tomorrow. Drop bait via kayak for 6-foot sandbar sharks, and I rarely get skunked when I do that, ironically. So that could be a lot of fun, but we need the surf to look a lot like this. If it's rough tomorrow, I don't go. I'm only gonna go if I can get the kayak out safely. So hopefully that happens tomorrow and we show you a big shark. Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next video.